Ranger Pompei, strength and conditioning coach at Portland State University. I work with the tennis team as well as the football teams. Both sports have a ton of shoulder issues that we have to deal with. Last year, our football team had way too many injuries, so we've taken some measures to try to find out and put into practice some ways to decrease those injuries. And so far, we've been pretty successful. I want to start out with some new equipment that we've got to kind of help with keeping our shoulders in proper alignment, making sure that we're taking a lot of that stress off the shoulders when we're doing the majority of our pressing movements. Bench press, overhead press, anything. We can also use these for rows. They help a lot. What these bars do, if you want to get a shot of these, is they've got 3 different grips, obviously for guys with different shoulder widths, with different length of their arms. So we can use these different grips as well. But like I said, they put you in a neutral position. Your shoulder is much more stable and in a better position for presses with those. Take a lot of strain off the shoulder joint, decrease impingement, those sorts of things. All right. So we've been using those quite a bit. Like I said, we've had a lot less shoulder issues as we've been going through spring ball and fall camp. Okay. Let's start with a few exercises. If you want to come with me, start with a few exercises. I've got 2 of my interns here, Coach Adam Burson, Coach Josh Beck. All right, they're going to demonstrate some exercises that we also use to make sure that shoulder joint is very stable and very strong. All right, we're going to start out with a towel pull-up. Towel pull-ups, everybody uses pull-ups. We tend to like the towels because it allows the arms and the shoulders to move freely in more of a natural movement. All right, so Coach Burston will show you how we perform these towel pull-ups, allowing the arms and the hands and the shoulders to move freely. All right? So notice how his hands and arms are actually rotating inward as he's doing the pull-up. Much more natural for the shoulders to do that instead of being in a fixed position. Okay? If we come over here, moving on, we're going to do some band work. A lot of times we do this for our prehab. And, just trying to keep those shoulders nice and stable. If you want to come with me, Coach. All right. So Coach Beck is first going to show you a band pull apart. You can use bands of varying resistance. All right, he's got one of our lighter black bands here. If you don't have any of those, surgical tubing works fine. You can get some bands with higher tension as well. All right, so what he's going to do, first of all, turn around for me. Turn around. He's going to go ahead and show us how he keeps his scapula retracted. All right, he's going to be pulling those shoulder blades back together the whole time, never wanting to get into a shrug position. He wants to keep that thing retracted and pulled down. All right, go ahead and show it from the front. With his hand placement, obviously whatever tension somebody requires, you can move closer together for more tension. But all he's basically trying to do is pull this band to his nipple line. All right, let it come. Never really getting loose in the back, never getting loose in the rear delts. All right, always staying pretty tight. Okay, so we've done a couple of those pull parts. We'll also do an overhead variation of the pull part. If you want to go and turn around so we can see the back. Overhead variation, again, keeping the shoulder blades pulled back and down, keeping these arms straight. He's going to aim for the top of the traps here when he's pulling this. Okay? Good, show us a couple reps. Another one that we like to do, called a sword draw, like you're drawing a sword out of the sheath. All right, he's going to have his hand locked in by his hip. His hand that's going to be working, thumb will be placed down. Okay, his arm will remain straight again. Arm will remain straight. He's going to keep that shoulder pulled back and down, and he's just going to do a couple movements going diagonally, like he's pulling the sword out. Okay, sword draw. Obviously, you perform that on both sides. All right. From there, he's going to show you a general scapular retraction. The way that I like to do it, however, he's going to grab this green band, pull it back to the bench. He's going to take a seat so he takes any strain off the hamstrings. The reason I say that, with this neutral spine, now he's going to get a slight forward lean. All right? This places a lot more stress throughout the back, which I always think is great, making sure that core is engaged. From here, he's just going to do some scapular retractions, making sure not to shrug. Good. So from there, you know, and then there's tons of other band exercises you can use. You know, everybody knows the internal, external rotation, whichever angle you're using that from. But those are some of my favorite ones right there. We also use these TRX cables, TRX bands, to do some good shoulder stability strengthening movements. So Coach Burson is going to start out. He's going to start out by showing you how we do our version of the Trx Row. All right. With this, we still use the same protocol when we're doing any type of rows, whether it's with dumbbells, barbells, a bent over row, whatever it might be. We always want to engage the back first. So he's going to start with a good scapular retraction before he pulls himself to the top of the row, and then back down. If you've got somebody with shoulder laxity, maybe you might not want to have them come all the way down to a relaxed shoulder there, but keep it more tight throughout the entire range. As long as he's got that tension up in the mid-traps, rhomboids, you know, the teres, keeping that upper back nice and tight. From there, he's going to go into a rear delt fly. A rear delt fly variation on the TRX. All right? Always keeping his body straight in line. Shoulders to heels should be straight as a board, core is engaged. Again, he's not letting himself shrug up. Okay? He's keeping those shoulder blades pulled back, pulled down, in good position. Good, a couple of reps on that. Now he's going to show you the overhead variation, where it's the overhead pullover that we use on the TRX cables. Good. So a few different variations that we can use with the TRX range. Okay? Coach Beck, again, is going to show you a few exercises that we use. These are very easy to do, and you don't need a lot of equipment. Some light dumbbells, some light plates like he's going to use right here. That's all you really need. You can even grab a gallon of milk, gallon of water, whatever you need. Just get a little bit of weight. You don't need a lot. Typically, we'll bump up the reps to a pretty high level, because a lot of times when injuries do occur is when those stabilizers become fatigued and they're not doing their job anymore. So we'll keep those reps up pretty high to make sure that we can resist fatigue in there. All right, so he's going to start by showing you a rear delt fly. So we'll get into a bent over position. Again, neutral spine, back is nice and flat. And he's going to show you some rear delt flies. Notice how he's doing it. He's not allowing his hands to come down back towards the back side of his body. He's keeping it out in a straight line, so that when he finishes, his arms are in a straight line all the way across his body. A lot of guys tend to start pulling back and engaging the lats and making the movement easier on themselves. So the next one that Coach is going to show you is what we call a prone shoulder press. All right, he's going to basically do a shoulder press movement down in a prone position on his chest, making sure that he's tight in the upper back. Again, keeping everything retracted. We want to make sure that we're stable at all times. Go ahead and do a couple of those for me. Variation of that is what we call a prone shoulder jack. Prone shoulder jack. So he's going to do basically a jumping jack maneuver with his upper body. All right. Same basic principles. Thank you. All right, go ahead and move on over here to the incline bench. On the incline bench, again, Coach Person's going to show you a few movements that we do. First one is going to be basically a front shoulder raise with a barbell. You can also use dumbbells for any of these exercises. So again, keeping the retraction, staying nice and tight. And he's going to be lifting that up. A lot of people think this is a front delt movement. It's really more of an upper back. You're going to feel this a little bit in the rear delts, but a lot in the mid traps, rhomboids area. All right. From there, he's going to do a couple punches, still in the incline position. All right. So you're just going to come out straight. This one, obviously, the heavier you go, you're going to have to really stabilize a lot to keep that barbell in a straight line. All right. Lastly, with the bar, he's going to be doing a face pull. He's going to do a face pull. With this one, just, you can use bands for this, cables for this. Again, dumbbells work as well. But what he's going to basically do is pull that bar up to the middle of his face, right around the mouth or the nose, keeping his elbows forward, getting them up nice and high. Good. Lastly, he'll go ahead and grab some of these lighter plates. You can grab dumbbells as well. Typically, anywhere from 2.5 to 10 pounds is going to be plenty. Don't let your guys try to get macho and start using too much weight and let the form break down. All right? Retract your shoulder blades. We're going to do a YTWO. A lot of you have probably heard of this or have some variation of it. I like to use these 4 letters. All right? Firstly, we have our Y's. Thumbs are pointed up. He's coming up to a slight angle. Not going straight out, but he's not coming to the side. From there, we'll do T's. This one with the palms facing down. All right? Just come straight out to the side like the rear Delt Fly that we did before. He wants a straight line from wrist to wrist. W's, he'll turn his palms forward. Turn his palms forward. Pull back towards his hips. Back towards his hips. Again, getting a good squeeze there in the traps. All right? And then finishing off with an external rotation or our L exercise. All right? Making sure that this angle here at the elbow remains at 90 degrees. All right? Don't let them shorten up that angle. Make sure they stay at 90 degrees. Good. That's basically it. You know, as I mentioned, you can use rows. Rows, anytime you're strengthening up that back, you're going to help with shoulder issues. We see a lot of guys that are dominant on that anterior side. We want to try to strengthen that up. But also our stabilizers and the rear delts are a big player in keeping those shoulders healthy. So I appreciate your time and I hope you learned something. Thank you.